Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. So today I am back to go over a few things that I am seeing at the moment. Yes, I've been gone for a couple of months, but the market was a bit of a mess and it was a good opportunity to step away and wait for everything to settle, because a lot of price action, a lot of technical indicators, a lot of things weren't really working after the FTX collapse. So it's taken a bit of time for things to kind of even out and for things to settle, because the contagion was savage and it's still kind of going as well with regards to the FTX collapse and all the other stuff going on with DCG and Grayscale and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to cover that in this. I'm just going to cover a few other things. The main thing I guess I'm going to cover today is the dog in the room, the elephant in the room, or the dog in the room, and that would be Bonk, of course, and a few things you can do to maybe get into this and get out in a safe way, because a lot of the time with meme coins, they shoot up to the sky and then they basically come crashing down, and then you give back a lot of the gains. One thing I've discovered from the 2021 bull market with meme coins was basically it's good to have an exit strategy with this sort of stuff. You know, if you want to get into it, your best bet is to get in somewhere, set yourself a target, and then get out and don't look at it again. That's basically the best strategy I found with meme coins, because what can happen is you can get sucked into the hype, and then you can get sucked into that I'm never selling mentality, and then the community, all that sort of stuff gets a bit out of control. And yes, like, you could make more, but then also you could just give it all back and lose it all essentially. So my approach with regards to meme coins now is to get in on some of the hype, ride part of it, and then get out and then just be happy with that. And that's pretty much what I am doing with it. So I guess let's have a quick look. Now I've got the chart up on the screen here. That's Ethereum. It did break out, which is pretty cool. So this is the parabolic SAR strategy, which, you know, it unfortunately didn't quite work nicely, because what happened was it came into a resistance here, unfortunately, that's the 50 period smooth moving average. And the reason why I like to look at the ETH chart, and it's a bit random talking about Bonk and then jumping into an ETH chart, is because it kind of gives you the state of the kind of altcoin market to some degree. But if you have a look at the Solana chart, which is kind of what's tied to Bonk, it looks completely different. There is something interesting I saw on the Solana chart, which I'll cover in just a second. But yeah, we did get a breakout on the parabolic SAR, and you know, it didn't quite work the last time, and it didn't quite work this time. I didn't take this short. I actually was kind of trying to work out what to do next with this one, so I didn't actually take this. But you know, as you can see, like this one worked pretty well. You know, go back previous videos to see the strategy on this, but it's basically wait for these candles to close and then take that direction on the next 21 or the 50 or both. And so I did that on this. I did thankfully take some profit on this before the crash, and that's because of the TDSS9. But anyway, so we managed to skirt this parabolic SAR line, and we haven't flipped to short again. So yeah, things are looking okay. We've got a close finally above the 21 again. This is the white line, sorry. And you know, last time we did get a close above the white line and then close back below it. That's a rejection essentially. So if we get a few closes above this white line, this is the 21 smooth moving average, we could get a nice little run up, you know, but we do have the bull market support band to contend with, unfortunately. That's a pretty major headwind on the daily chart. So the Ethereum chart doesn't look too crazy. It kind of looks very similar to the Bitcoin chart, to be honest. One thing I have noticed though on the Bitcoin chart quickly, and I'll just go over this as fast as I can, is the CVDs. Now again, I've covered the cumulative volume deltas in the past. It basically shows strength in either direction. So you can see ever since the FTX collapse, see the green line here is spot cumulative volume delta, and the blue line is perpetuals. So perpetuals don't really mean a great deal. So if price action is going up and perpetuals is going up. The thing is, these guys can close on a dime, whereas spot is more likely to hold and support price action. So when you see spot just continually selling off, even though price is going up, then that's really not a good sign. It means that these moves are not strongly supported by the people that will hold and support price moves, because perhaps, you know, if you open a futures position, you've got stop losses in, you've got take profits, you're not likely to just hold on to it. Whereas with spot, you know, people are more likely to just hold on to it. So I noticed this has been going down, down, down. It did have a little bit of a sideways and uptick here. I noticed yesterday though, is that this has flattened out since the 1st of January. So it means that spots stopped their aggressive sell-off, at least for now, because when we got back here, we got a little bit of relief, but that didn't take long for after this little pump to just keep selling off again. But hey, we got a new year, so let's see where we go from here. But yeah, I'm noticing a bit of sideways action here on the spot. So it means that I guess this big selling off has kind of at least slowed down. And I noticed before this little pump, the sideways. So I've been expecting some decent, potentially decent relief rally or something like that on the horizon. So we'll see if that comes or not. But, you know, new year, new mentality, people are myopic, I guess, to some degree or another. And I guess FTX is definitely not a distant memory. And you still see SBF in the headlines, but you know, we're looking for new opportunities now. New year, new opportunities. Let's see what the year gives us, I guess. On the Solana chart, a few things that I noticed. The biggest thing that I noticed on the Solana chart is this short squeeze. So I was looking at this on the 29th, and to me that made me feel quite bullish. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's two reasons for that. And let me show you what they were. So there's two things that made me bullish, and opened a long position down here at 9.8 for these two reasons. So the first one was we had a TDSS 9 on the daily for Solana, and they don't always play out, the TDSS 9. So I like to look at them in conjunction with other things. So, you know, this top, there wasn't the absolute top, but so the next one was the top. I like to sort of pair them with other things. So in this case, we had a few things. So TDSS 9, I was like, okay, TDSS 9, there was this big wick here, huge tail to the downside, went down to 7.7 on OKX, which is absolutely insane. So big tail to the downside, a lot of bearish bias across the entire Solana space. You know, all of the FUD it's pretty bad, to be honest, on Solana. And understandably so, because Alameda Research holds a very large amount of SOL. That is a huge headwind going forward. But sentiment on Solana in general is pretty bad. There's no doubt about it. And coming from me, you know, I've been pretty resilient throughout the entire year with regards to Solana, but, you know, even I felt quite bearish at one stage. And, you know, I did short SOL because of it. Not immediately, but after my 2 hour, you know, after there's some of these trading strategies just weren't really playing out, here I got chopped up a bit. And so I just ended up opening a short here and then just holding on to it and not really worrying too much about it. But then when I saw this squeeze, as you can see here, massive squeeze on the 2 hour, that was pretty bullish. And as soon as we got back above the 21, yeah, we got rejected on the 2 hour. We got back above it and then held around the 21. That was very bullish for me on the 21. So I was thinking, okay, there might be some hope. There might be some hope for SOL. So I did open a long position due to this TSS 9, also a 3-line strike, bullish 3-line strike on the daily, and a crossover of the stochastic down the bottom. That's a lot of confluence there, a lot of reasons to go long. So I did open a long. I did close it yesterday though, because I closed it at the 21 period. So, you know, not a bad trade. From here to here was about 35%. Pretty nice after a lot of the bearishness. So I'm not in any trades right now on Solana. I'm just kind of waiting for things to play out. was thinking of shorting here because, you know, we're on a bearish 3-line strike. Right now that's playing out. Also, we're on the 21, which is going to be pretty difficult to get past. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if we do manage to hold here, my thoughts are, looking at the 12-hour, for example, my thoughts are maybe we correct here and come back down because we did get a TDSS9 sell signal as well. So that's the other thing as well. So we're getting a crossover stochastic. I'm thinking maybe we might come back down here to 12, you know, maybe 11.8, down to the 21 period, and hopefully hold that as support. And if we can hold that as support, then I guess the next stop would most likely be, well, not most likely, is possibly, I should say, about $19, which is the 50 period on the daily. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting a crossover here, but we can get pinned up the top in certain periods. So maybe we just get pinned here, come back down, stock comes back down a little bit, you know, bounces off, hopefully holds some sort of support, and then we continue on as a possibility. Nothing's guaranteed. You know, we could just continue getting bearish because we still have macro headwinds ahead of us that are definitely going to make it difficult for any long sustained move. But this is just practical L1s. You know, we got ETH we looked at, Solana we've looked at. You know, these are the sort of practical sort of plays, things that underpin the market. I'm pretty happy to see that Sol is back into the top 15, or at least it was yesterday, after getting pushed out completely of the top 20 for a few days. And it's kind of back again, which is nice. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I'll probably put a long in here with a tight stop loss on the 12-hour and see where that goes. But so let's have a look at the dog in the room. As I mentioned before, Bonk, this thing's gone ballistic, and the main reason why, and people are saying this was launched in December, and the reason why I say that is not the case is because I remember seeing Bonk when I was looking at all of the dog coins and meme coins on Solana last year. So I found Cheems, or Keems, however it's pronounced, Samoyed coin. I found this Bonk, found a whole bunch of them because I was looking at them last year, in the first quarter of last year on the Solana ecosystem. I'm guessing those maybe a re-release or something like that with this massive airdrop, because they've just airdropped it to all of these, like the team development, marketing, the DAO, early contributors, NFT collections, early open book traders. I missed out on that because I wasn't really using that. Sol, artists and collections. So I think probably ones of significance because I didn't get any and I've got an NFT collection. Solana developers, you know, etc. So they've just airdropped it to all of these, I guess you could say, significant players in the Solana ecosystem. And let's be honest, the Solana ecosystem has taken a huge hit. I was going to do a video on the health of the Solana ecosystem, but to be honest, it's all still kind of playing out because, you know, we had the Sol at BTC go to $1,000. We had all this sort of stuff go down, you know, the LTV on Bitcoin on Sol End, for example, going from 80% to 0 overnight and liquidating people's positions, which, you know, killed Sol End a bit. All this crazy stuff went down, you know, so it's been pretty crazy. And I could go the list. I did start a list, but I'm still waiting for things to play out to see, because I was just waiting to see what kind of projects will survive all of the FUD and all of the contagion, all that sort of stuff. For example, Katana seems to be gone, which is the structured options product. Waiting for them to come back. They didn't. So they're gone, but Friction still seems to be around. So Friction's doing all right. They're still active and doing stuff. That's the other structured options product on Solana. That's real yield generation on Solana. And I've got my Sol, MSol in there, as well as a few other coins and tokens. And they're earning pretty decent yield. And I'm pretty happy to leave my stuff in there for now and just wait and let it earn yield, I guess. But now though, let's continue on with this Bonk business. So there is a white paper, you know, you can go through on their website and check all their stuff out. They're a meme coin, there's no utility. Basically, the idea is to just kind of drive up retail and drive up a bit more hope or a bit more speculation in the Solana ecosystem. Now, this has already started getting listed on some other exchanges. So if you have a look here, Forby, and Bybit have listed it, and Gate.io. But yeah, to see like Huobi released it pretty early on, to be honest. But yeah, I saw it yesterday, the Huobi chart. So I've been actually looking at the chart on Bitrue. I don't even know. Bitrue's not even listed on any of these, but that's been the chart that I've been looking at. And as you can see, I've got the market cipher on here. This is my customized market cipher indicator that I've got on here. And I'm not going to use a market cipher to trade this, to be honest. Why would I? But yeah, it's definitely on some bigger exchanges, but to me, I didn't see the point in doing that. I went straight to Jupiter Aggregator. And do you want to know why? Jupiter Aggregator has limit orders now. And you know what that means? You can, if you want to speculate on this, you can buy it, put a limit order in if you want to try and catch a better price. But for me, I don't care about that. For me, it's about exiting, because one thing I learned about meme coins from 2021, and this was from all of the, I got in a lot of meme coins, and I'm not even gonna list them all. Most of them went to zero, right? But I guess the biggest one for me was SafeMoon. That was the one that generated me the most return on my investment. But the biggest problem was I didn't have an exit strategy for it. So I ended up watching it go all the way up and all the way back down again. And for me, that's weird because I'm a trader and I'm usually in and out, but I did get sucked into the hype. So I'm not gonna let that happen again. For me, I've got an exit strategy for this. This is pure speculation. This coin means nothing. You know, they've got burning and all that. They are burning their allocation to DeGods. So they had 500 billion they had allocated, and they're basically going to burn all of that. So some potential results there, I guess. You know, the whole thing with these meme coins is about the burn, because there is 100 trillion tokens. It's absolutely insane how many tokens there are. But there is some sort of distribution and an insane amount of holders at the moment. I guess the cool thing about these meme coins is now they've got the AI art that they can use to generate like higher quality meme pictures, I guess, for these, you know, which we didn't really have last year. But anyway, because that is another issue, another thing that happened, as I'm sure everyone's aware of. We had two of the top NFT projects leaving for Polygon and Ethereum, and that added to the FUD. So I guess this is something to give a bit more life back to the Solana space. But yeah, it's just absolutely insane having a look at this on Jupiter, because it does show a chart here, which is kind of cool. Quite like the chart. It's just a line chart, but it does the job. For example, you know, if you're like me and you bought it a few days ago, you know, and you basically are just trying to get maybe 100x or something crazy like that, well, you can set yourself a limit order to just take profit. So you just work out where you're happy with. You know, if you put, you know, $100 in, for example, and you want to 10x it or something like that, you just want to work out what kind of profit you want to make from it, essentially, in the dollar value. Then, you know, say if you've got, I don't know, say if you put $100 in now, wow, that's only 31 million. That was a lot more the other day. So it just goes to show how these meme coins can do some crazy moves, because I think the market cap's only 100 million, right? So it has a lot of potential to move very fast. In the last week, it's done 2,500%, which is just insane. Work out what you're happy with, and then basically you can just basically tell it what you want. So say if you want to exit your position at 6, so that's a 2x from here. It's not as impressive as it was, I can tell you that much. But yeah, so you want to exit it at 6, for example, you can just basically pop your limit order in, it'll close your position. And the cool thing is, Jupiter Aggregator will find the best path. And I don't think there's any other chain that has this. Limit orders on Jupiter Aggregator has kind of changed everything. I mean, it'd be cool if they had stop loss orders. That would be really cool, because then you can just say, you know, if it gets below a certain amount, then it just sells off your position, so you're not left holding the bag. That would be cool. So, you know, if Jupiter's listening, which they're probably not, but if they are, that would be the cool sort of next evolution of this. But yeah, say you just kind of want that 1-0 taken off, for example, and then you just take this down to 0 here. You know, say that's a 3x on $100 bucks from where we are now. And so you're happy with a 3x. Like $300 in a bear market off a $100 investment, or $200 profit. It's pretty good off $100. Like, that's insane. Like, that would require a lot in any L1 or any other real proper project, really, or any other real trade. It's kind of crazy. Like, I forgot that that's the sort of stuff that can happen in meme coins. But the difference is, now with my trader's mentality back in full swing, I'm going to look for that exit, because what's the point in just holding onto this forever? Like, it will crash eventually. It will crash. People will take profit. And when someone big takes profit, things will go down really fast. So, either you can wait for that to happen and then pull the pin then, or you can just set and forget, like what I've done. So say, for example, you have 200 million, and say you bought that like last week, for example, or a few days ago, and it really wasn't worth this much back then. But hey, this is a pretty amazing return on investment, to be honest. But again, don't get caught in the hype. That's the thing. So be happy with some sort of profit. It's a bear market. We've lost a lot in Solana in terms of the value of our soul. So yeah, don't get greedy. Get in and get out. That's my recommendation with regards to this. It's super speculative. The hype will fade at some stage. And yeah, once you got your limit order in, as soon as it hits that level, then basically it'll sell off your position and just take that profit and be happy with it, essentially. And for me, that's, for the very little that I put into this, I've been able to get a lot out of it. I'm waiting for 4. That's when I'm getting out. So when this ticks over to 4, that's when my limit order will trigger and I'll sell out of my position. Yeah, it could keep going higher, but I don't care because that's not how I operate, especially now. But yeah, it's a very speculative play. If you're going to get into this, then have an exit strategy. Have a way out. Treat it like a trade. Don't treat this like a forever hold, because this will crash at some stage, right? The hype will wear off. But for now, while all these exchanges start to list it, Bybit, Bobby, whoever else decides to list it, while all these exchanges are starting to list it, more money will flow in. So the price will definitely go up, and then more adoption is starting in Solana ecosystem. So it's not actually in anywhere at the moment. It's not in Tulip. It's not in Francium. It's nowhere. I think Solana is considering making a pool for it, so there might be some way to get yield there. Orca does currently have some yield generating, 1000% APR plus, essentially, for Bonk, but you have to pair it with USDC or Solana. So you're going to get some sort of impermanent loss from that. And also, I would prefer to be liquid in this and not really provide liquidity, because yeah, you get good yield, but then if Solana just stagnates and goes sideways or corrects from here and Bonk keeps going up, then you won't make anywhere near as much from the actual price action of the token. You're earning some yield on it, sure, but that yield won't be anywhere near as much as what the price action will be in the short term. So, especially if you pair it with USDC, well, you're only making half of the actual directionality of that. So say Bonk goes up another 1000%, but half of that is in USDC, then okay, it means you're only up 500%, which is still an insane amount, but it's nowhere near as much. And also, Orca's concentrated liquidity. So concentrated liquidity is not for people who are new, and it is a little bit more difficult. If you watch a tutorial on it, they do have one here. But again, I would prefer to remain liquid, ride the price action only, ride the price up, but not really do anything with it in DeFi. Maybe if there's a way you can do a single-sided, for example, maybe Francium or Tulip, list it and there's like some decent yield on it for supplying it, at least while it's being held, that's possible. But if you want to do what I'm doing and you put your Bonk in a limit order to sell it off, you can't do anything like that, because once you've put it in the limit order on Jupiter, it takes it out of your wallet. So basically it's not available for you to do anything with, because it's no longer in your wallet for this to execute. So if you want to trade this, this is the best way to do it. Personally, this is how I'm treating this, in and out. It's up to you what you do, obviously. If you don't want to touch it at all, that's probably fine. But for me, I'm definitely treating this like a trade, not like a hold, or not something to use within DeFi. But if you go on Twitter, it's crazy. Bonk is definitely trending. Most of what you're seeing is airdrop related, to be honest, because a lot of airdrops did happen. But yeah, there's obviously going to be the fake Binance Smart Chain token and all that sort of stuff. There is an ETH wrapped version of it. There are wrapped versions of it, I guess, appearing here, there, and everywhere. But the real one is on the Solana blockchain. So come over to Solana, I guess, if you really want to trade it properly on DeFi, or you can use a centralized exchange. Personally, I would prefer to avoid those at all costs. So that's pretty much it. I don't think there's going to be much for this. I think there's just going to be a bit of hype around it. Yeah, there'll be adoption in the Solana DeFi ecosystem because I guess it's kind of a bit of a saving grace. It's kind of helping out us in the Solana ecosystem because people like me, I haven't really gone away. I'm still here, hoping, I guess, for the best. Solana's still an amazing blockchain, and we don't want to be the next EOS or anything like that, where they went from being, you know, in the top 5 to 40 or something like that in market cap. We do kind of need things to pick up a bit. We need some sort of bullish catalysts, and yeah, this is helping with sentiment. And anything that helps with sentiment, I'm all for. That's why I have got on board with it. But I have an exit strategy, and I recommend that you do the same if you're going to do it. So I think this video has gone on long enough. So yeah, anyway, I think in the short term, we're going to get probably some sort of pullback on Sol because it has gone pretty out of control, pretty wild. And there are a few indicators that indicate there's going to be some sort of turnaround. We have kind of held to our 200 period smooth moving average. But I still feel like we're going to come down to test some of these sort of levels around $12 before we potentially keep going up. But that remains to be seen. As long as Bitcoin keeps kind of going sideways and as long as spot continues to hold on, then altcoins can continue to do their thing. I still have hopes that ETH will go on a small run. However, with ETH, there are quite a few things that will prevent us from going up too much higher. We have a major resistance here at 1320 or 1310. Here, that's the 50 daily smooth moving average. And, you know, it does tend to act as resistance as it did back here during this little relief, this little pump here. So you can see it does act as resistance quite often. And then, you know, when it acts as resistance, we've come down, but we don't go down all the way, then it might be a case of, you know, gathering ourselves, letting things build up, waiting for money to come back in that is confident that maybe we can go back up, the money that will support a decent move back up to the upside, and then we can try to have another run at it again, and then maybe we go back up and test higher levels. So upside is yeah, we can be hopeful, but yeah, I think for now, temper expectations. We have had a decent run, but we can still have another run. We haven't had a proper relief rally in a while. Things have been going sideways, but as you can see, based on this, you know, money is coming back in on spot, on Bitcoin. I use this as sort of my indication to see, you know, what money's doing, you know, if the price action's being driven by leverage or if it's being driven by spot. And in this case, to me, it looks like this move is being supported by spot for now. So we'll see if this can keep going. But I gotta say, Jupiter have done an absolutely amazing job with this, you know, an aggregator, a DEX aggregator with limit orders. That's not been done before. So props to Jupiter. I've really been a big fan of Jupiter ever since they came out. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting mostly in stable coins at the moment. You know, most of my money is in USDC, and I'm kind of waiting for some sort of better sentiment before starting to allocate capital again. Still got my Sol that I'm holding on to. Yeah, have fun with Bonk, I guess, and make sure you've got an exit strategy, and we'll see what happens to it, and we'll see what happens when the price starts tanking. I'm hoping sentiment remains. We'll see what happens. There's no other dog coin running on Sol. I've checked them all. They're all kind of going sideways. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Anyway, hopefully we get some sort of decent bullish moves in the next, you know, coming weeks. But just remember this year, will most likely be probably a sideways year. We might get some, 10, 20, 30% moves up, and we'll give those back, and then up and down, hopefully within a tightish range, so we can just kind of play with these random popcorns that come throughout the course of the year. But we'll see what happens. All the best, guys. Keep safe out there, and I'll see you next time.